Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi and that's a new tip tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. This time I'd like to start talking about all the modifiers we can find inside 3ds Max. So the first thing I'd like to see is, for example, the lattice modifier, and I'm talking about the freeform deformer. So let's create a really simple mesh like this one. And you see I'm talking about a cylinder, and I can go there inside the modifiers and I can choose between the freeform deformer, and you see we have 5 types. We have the 222, the 333 and the 444, and then the box and the cylinder. Let's see what about how we can use the freeform deformer. You see that now we have a cage around our mesh, and you see that we have some option there to see the lattice, so the cage or the source volume, and later we can see how to use it. And you see that we can use the deformation for only the vertices we have inside the cage, or all the vertices. So if we change the cage proportion or the position, we can continue to deform the entire mesh or not. And we have some interesting stuffs there to conform the shapes or other stuffs. But the most interesting part is the possibility to use the control points. And you see that we can select the control points and start changing the shape of our mesh. But obviously we are not changing the real mesh. So we are just deforming this cage, and all the deformation will be visible on the original mesh. But you see that we have 2 less control points there, so it's better to remove this kind of freeform deformer. And let's go to choose a more complex like this one. You see that our cage is more complex than the previous one. We have 3 control points over every single axis. So we can go there and we can start changing. And now the deformation is more complex, and you see that I can, for example, scale on the 3-axis this one, and you see that we can deform the mesh in any way without any problems. So you see we can use this kind of deformer trying to see a sculpting tool inside 3ds Max. So we can go back to the cylinder and we can use more segments, so the shape will be more complex, as you can see, and I can continue to work. We can remove the lattice, as you can see, and we can continue to work over the axis. Obviously we have not so much segments there, but we can change it, and then again there, and I can sculpt the shape in any way. It's not a problem. And obviously we can remove it or set to off this kind of deformer, and we have also the possibility to go for a more complex deformer. And let's see, for example, how it can work over a plane. And it can be useful, for example, let's add more detail. Okay, it can be really useful when you're trying to work on for example, an environment, and you can start to use it to create some basic stuffs. Let's add more detail. Okay, and you like to create, for example, the basic for a terrain, and you see I can create the basic stuffs, and later I can add, for example, a noise fractal, and I can start to add the deformation, and you see that we can use the control points to change the shape in any way. And that's, for example, let's set one. That's, for example, a really interesting case when we can try to use, let's close the control point, a more complex freeform deformer. So, for example, let's go there, and you see that we have the freeform deformer box. Obviously, the other one has a cylindric shape that can be good in any way for objects similar to cylinder. Let's use the box, and you see that we have again a cage, but we can decide the proportion. So we have the set number of points, and we can choose, for example, to have 2 control points over this axis, and we can decide to have, for example, 8 there and 6 there. So you see we are creating a custom freeform box as we need, and then we can start working. And we have obviously more detail. We can also choose for an area, we can pick there, and obviously we can also rotate it. We can do whatever else we like to do to this area of the mesh. And you see that we have also the tension to the points, so we have a major control over the points there. So we have the possibility to change also there, and we have also the continuity, so we can control in a really good way all the detail. And then we can use, for example, a turbo smooth to have more detail over it, and we can continue removing the lattice. We can continue to work on the shape, and we can change it in a really fast way, and we can sculpt the surface as we need. So that's the freeform deformer. Obviously we can use it in many ways, and it can be really useful to understand how it works also because we have it inside the skin modifier to create muscles and deformation over the skin for characters and other things like that. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for more tip tutorials coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.